Whether you're joining us from Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, you'll be able to interact with us. So and comment, down below. Before I kind of get into today's announcement and a couple of other things and get to your, questions, this is what this Q&A is about. For those of you that are joining for the first time, and by show of hands, let me know in the comments below if you're joining us for the very first time, or if you're joining us, for the second or third time, or you've seen us before. I do see a couple of very familiar names in the chats down here, so I see a lot of you kind of are repeat viewers. But if you're joining us for the first time, let me know in the comments below as well. We'd be happy to have you kind of experience this live stream with us. Again, for those of you that are new, I do this every single month, sometimes multiple times a month, just to kind of interact with our viewers and followers, and to learn a bit more about kind of what you guys are working on, any questions you guys might have. It's really a very open-ended discussion as to some of the questions you guys might have, and get direct access to myself, to be able to answer those burning questions. And hopefully I can give you, some insight and anything else that you might be kind of wondering. So that's really the purpose of this, and I hope that you find this information and this conversation helpful, and looking forward to kind of hearing some of your questions and getting those answered. All right, so now if you're joining us from YouTube, do me a huge favor and smash the thumbs up button on the bottom of the video if you're joining us from YouTube, whether it's on your phone or whether it's on the on the desktop, on a computer, wherever you are, whether you're joining us from YouTube, smash the like button, and if you're joining us from Facebook, hit that like button as well. And if you're on Instagram, hit that heart button. I better see a lot of hearts and likes, so that we can kind of build up the hype for this huge announcements that we're gonna make. At the same time, as we kind of go through kind of this conversation and we answer some of your questions, I'd love to hear kind of some of your feedback and what you're working on, some of the things that you guys have been also struggling with. This is the time to speak with me and get an understanding of what you guys are working on, and hopefully I can solve some of those problems for you guys or point you in the right direction. So to do this for an hour of our time every single month, it is a kind of a huge effort, even behind the scenes. So, give us a thumbs up and a like, or even a share to someone who might find this helpful. It would greatly help out, our efforts here. Okay, and greatly help out our YouTube channel. So wherever you're joining us from, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, go ahead and smash that like button. Now, with that said, I also, before we get into the announcement, you guys probably saw the Deco Summit video that we put before we went live. I kind of want to talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to kind of also mention some of the changes and promotions that we have going on internally here at Ricoma. So if you're ever, in the market for an embroidery machine, printer, whether it's DTF printer, DTG printer, or even a white toner transfer printer, we got printers of different sizes and different uses, as well as different embroidery machines that can help you kickstart or grow your business, right? So whatever you need, whatever kind of stage of the business you're in, we have a solution for you, all right? So on the embroidery machines, as you guys well know, that's kind of our bread and butter. And we do have a bunch of different lines of embroidery machines, even the 10S panels, the new Marquee series of embroidery machines, the Swift models, the Swift XL, which was kind of like the previous SWD models, different types of embroidery machines for you to get started on. If you're ever kind of in the market for one, right now we're offering some pretty, incentivizing discounts off of previous pricing to get people started in the business. You can save upwards of $3,700 with the new pricing of on some of these machines. So you get everything you need to get started. I love to understand kind of what you do currently and how which machine can kind of suit your needs and taking your business to the next level. Whether you're just starting out and hey, like I don't do any embroidery or any sort of apparel decoration right now and just want to get started with embroidery, or you're kind of a seasoned veteran and you're looking to scale your business or change from something else that's not really working well. I'd love to hear kind of what isn't working for you and how we can help you. All right, so that's really the purpose of me being here, and our team is ready to help as well if you have any questions or just want to get further information on what product can help your business. All right, for the printers, we have our Luminaris 200 white toner transfer printer. Now I kind of start from small to large. The Luminaris 200 white toner transfer printer is kind of like a entry level printer to t-shirt printing. All right, and even hard surfaces like mugs and tumblers as well. So we've recently have a sale on that. The printers are now starting at just $37.50 for the price of the printer, a whole complete package with a heat press and everything, and all the supplies that you would need to get started. So very, very affordable entry level desktop toner, laser printer, right? White toner transfer printer to be able to get you started in t-shirt printing, right? So if you want to print some t-shirts, do some crafts, print some or even do some sublimation on mugs for customers, kind of these small batch orders to kind of get your business going, a couple of $100 a month, a couple of $1,000s a month to get your business going. This would be an ideal printer for those crafters and startups that are just getting into the business, right? That are looking to either do some things for themselves or for clients to recuperate some of the investment costs, but at under $4,000 for an all-inclusive package. That is just with a heat press and everything that you need to get started, can't beat that anywhere else. And being able to offer that and get you in the door with t-shirt printing and even hard surfaces like mugs. You can even do caps. A very versatile and being able to do a variety of items with this printer. All right, so under $4,000 a month for an all-inclusive bundle. You can upgrade also with the sublimation kit to be able to do sublimation. So it's like having two printers in one. In fact, it's when you upgrade to the sublimation, it's having like three printers in one, because you can do office printing with normal black and white paper with this printer with the CMYK toner. You can do white toner transfer with t-shirts, and you can also do sublimation on t-shirts or on mugs. So hard surface, soft surface with garments, very, very versatile machine to get you started. This is kind of like the starter package for the crafters and the small business out there that want to kind of dabble into t-shirt printing and see what printing is like. All right. Now, if you want to take a step up and you're kind of in that next stage where you have a little bit of volume, you want to do more on a production basis, but not really quite there at the upper levels yet, that's where our DTG printer can really help you. Our Vision DTG printer is a direct-to-garment printer where, as the name says, you can print directly onto the garment itself. So it is also pretty compact, can rest upon a sturdy workstation and a desktop, but not going to be as kind of starter model as your white toner transfer desktop printer. This is going to be direct to garment. You can print t-shirts, hoodies, polos, any flat surfaces, socks, sleeves, you name it, right? Super nice finish and the hand feel to the direct to garment printer, because it prints directly onto the garment. The ink kind of fuses and bonds with the fibers of the fabric. Very versatile machine, very high speed, different speed modes. If you want to print high quality versus high speed, you can kind of have your choosing depending on what kind of items you're looking to print and what kind of designs you're looking to print. Very intuitive control panel, and again, full color, vibrant designs, even photorealistic designs. You can literally snap a photo and then transfer it to the printer and print it out so that you can have a photo, as a memory of an event or some kind of a setting with your family or whatever the case is. People also do that with the DTG printer. It's going to be a step up from the white toner transfer printer because it's more versatile, it's faster. And the direct to garment kind of feel, you can't beat that anywhere else. It's not a transfer onto the garment, it is a direct print onto the garment. And so these printers, we've also have a sale on those as well. Over $3,000 in savings on these printers as well. They're going for just $14,500 with our Vision DTG printer. All right, so you also get everything you need in the printer to get started, including the heat press, including the pre-treatment liquid, the Vivid Rip software, basically everything that you need. It's the software, the supplies, the ink, the pre-treatment, even some sample T-shirts that are ready to print, so that you can directly print on them because they're already pre-treated, that are ready to print. All right, but you also get the pre-treatment machine. If you upgrade to the more premium bundle, you get the Sonic Jet pre-treatment machine. And more supplies. You also get, for those of you that don't know, this also is kind of a two printers in one. You can do DTF on this DTG printer as well, direct to film. So if you upgrade to the premium bundle, which is, I believe, what was it, like just under $17,000, right? You get a pre-treatment machine, you get the an upgraded heat press, and you get a DTF starter kit, so that you have the powder and the film to be able to print DTF sheets using your DTG printer. So it's kind of doubles as a DTF printer. Many of you don't know that, and that's a great feature about the Vision DTG that you're able to do with your printer. But you'll need the supplies, and that's where the upgrade to the premium bundle is able to get you. You can buy the premium bundle and get the upgraded supplies with the film and the transfer sheet. And also the powder, right, to be able to print DTF, so that then you can transfer that onto any garment of your choice using also your DTG printer and your DTG ink. So kind of doubles as a two-in-one printer there. All right. You can see there, Essentials bundle, $14,500. Premium bundle, $17,500. All right, so for $3,000 more, you get a pre-treatment machine, which itself is like close to $2,000 worth of value. You get a better heat press, which is $900 of value, and then you get all of the extra supplies on the 1 gallon of light and dark pre-treatment liquid, and you also get the DTF kit. So all of that included in this premium bundle, that you can kind of get the top of the line to be able to get started with DTG printing. All right, so that's kind of the middle of the road. You got your white toner transfer printer with the Luminaris 200, and then now you got your Vision DTG, kind of the next step up, and then kind of the holy grail of printing, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard. DTF is really taking the industry by storm, and we have our roll-to-roll DTF printers. These are kind of these large commercial machines that are roll-to-roll, meaning it's printer, dryer, shaker, all in one, right? So that you prints off the printer in a roll. It goes through the dryer, and then it rolls up by itself into a roll as a finished product, from an automatic run. So these are not kind of, you can print DTF with your DTG, as I mentioned, right? But those are single sheets, right? This is rolls, so that it's really for much larger scale on the volume. So you can print these in rolls of transfer sheet, cut them up to sell them to customers, or you can just transfer them onto garments and sell it as a finished product. That's your choice, and it offers you that versatility to be able to do either or both. And so this is kind of like the top of the line, and these machines will also start around $17,000, $18,000, right under $18,000, and then the premium bundle goes up to just under $25,000, right? That's the 2402 24-inch wide printer. And then the 17950, right under $18,000 bundle, is the 1202, which is a 12-inch printer. So it's going to be half of the size on the print area. So you got $25,000 option, you have an $18,000 option, and different things that includes in those packages. All right. So the Revel DTF 2402 and the Revel DTF 1202, those are the two options that we have for the roll-to-roll DTF printers. So these are a little bit more large scale, and a little bit more, takes up a little bit more footprint than obviously your DTG, and definitely your white versus your white toner transfer printer. So you kind of, you can start out with one, and slowly upgrade from there. Or if you already have the volume, maybe you run a screen printing business, maybe you have an embroidery business, you have an existing client base. A lot of our customers also just opt in to the Revolt ETF to start because they have the volume to justify it, right? But it is going to be a larger investment. But if you have the volume to justify it, the machine pays for itself rather quickly. Okay, so that's kind of the three options we got on the printing side. Again, to summarize, Luminaris 200, white toner, starter, more of a craft machine. You can do some, crafts, arts and crafts, small orders, small samples, small runs. Get your feet wet and dabbling in t-shirt printing. You got the DTG, a little bit more serious. You can also double that as a DTF printer, and then finally the roll-to-roll DTF, which is the kind of holy grail in the t-shirt printing business. Okay, so with that said, last but not least, just one other announcement on our shop. If you want to buy any accessories, and other supplies, we can visit shop.ricoma.com. We have everything on there as well. Any orders over $1,000, you get free shipping. All right, and you get free shipping on the heat presses and the sewing machines as well. So if you're looking to upgrade your heat press, get a different heat press. If you're looking to get a sewing machine to maybe sew on patches to your garments, sew on patches to your hats. If you want to add sublimation toner cartridges to your white toner transfer printer, you got a bunch of different options as you see there on the screen on our shop. Okay, shop.ricoma.com. Free shipping over $1,000. Okay, we also got some demo machines as well that we use in our showroom and for trade shows. So we have some demo machines if you want to save a couple $100 for an open box demo machine that we've taken to trade shows and in our showroom. So we got a couple of those as well for those that are a little bit more budget conscious and want to save a couple $100. We have those options as well on our shop. Okay, all right, now. Just one more thing before we get into the huge announcement for today. Deco Summit. I know that as part of the upcoming event in late August, it's going to happen here in Miami, Florida, August 21st to the 23rd. Now, I kind of want to get a show of hands in the comments. How many of you know about Deco Summit? Who has attended Deco Summit in the past? Let me know about kind of whether you're a previous Deco Summit attendee, and if not, do you know what Deco Summit is? And I'd love to kind of hear some of that and kind of what the breakdown of the audience is like. But for those of you that don't know what Deco Summit is, it is a 3-day immersive educational event that Ricoma hosts every single year. I believe this is our 5th annual Deco Summit. We had the first one in 2019. So 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. So this might be the 6th annual one. I think we maybe skipped one during COVID. That was more of a virtual event. So yeah, if for an in-person event, probably the 5th annual Deco Summit that we're hosting. The first one we had in our office here when we were just moving into this building. But Deco Summit 2024 is going to be bigger than ever and better than ever with a lot of new speakers. All right, so I know that some of you have attended Deco Summit in the past. You probably saw some of the speakers that we've had in the past. Some of those are returning. You're kind of the fan favorites. Yours truly included. I will definitely be there. We got Alan Wade, which many of you know is a very prominent influencer and YouTuber in the apparel decoration space. Has his own business. And a slew of other speakers that you can see, that have already been confirmed. All right, some of them new that we've didn't have them for Deco Summit before, and have signed them up as well to kind of give you the really educational, immersive experience in the industry. All right, learning about from others how apparel decoration works. What are some of the things that you should look out for? How to market your business. I'll be talking a lot about that. Right, different marketing strategies. So how to grow your business, how to different techniques that you might not know, or how to master them. You got hands-on training, business seminars, open Q&A sessions. Now, so not only learning from others, but if you get a VIP ticket, you can also have the hands-on training with the machine of your choice. You can sign up in different slots with the machine of your choice, whether it's embroidery machine, whether it's the direct-to-garment printer, whatever it is that you're looking to do. We have a class for you. We also have Chroma digitizing software trainings, right? And then we have a full schedule coming out very, very soon. But you can expect a lot of these, things on how to do your designs, how to use Photoshop and Illustrator to do your designs, how to do that on Chroma for digitizing, how to do that on the machine for hats and different types of garments. So whether you're new to the industry, and or you've been doing this for a while, I see a lot of industry veterans coming to this event all the time just to see what's the latest and greatest. What are the new strategies that are working for everyone? Because there's always something to learn. I mean, I'm learning every single day, and I'm trying to apply new strategies to our business as well. So that is something that is very, very important to us in Deco Summit, and that's why we have that, to really be an educational and fully immersive experience to get people continuously educated about the apparel decoration industry and about their product and about their machines that they've invested in, so that they can be successful in their business. So this is the only event in the industry that I know of at this scale. Right? Last year, I think we had over 300 attendees. We're probably expecting closer to like 400 to 500 this year. That's why we were having a lot more classes. We're opening up a lot more classes for the hands-on training as well, to be able to kind of get people the opportunity to network with each other, learn from others, and see what others are doing and what's working, what's not working, and then also get interaction with our technicians, with our trainers, with our staff, to learn your machine, learn how to market, and solve the problems that you're facing in your business so that you can be successful. That's why we're in this business, right? To be successful and to make money and to grow our business. So this is the premier event in the industry to do that. It is really a gathering of apparel decorators every single year, and I like to call it home of the apparel decorators, because it really is kind of where apparel decorators gather every single year to share ideas and to really do that. This is not your typical trade show, right? This is your although we have a trade show floor and there's different vendors that will be present at the event, this is not your typical trade show where you just go around and look at different vendors. This is an educational conference, an educational summit, that you get together and you network and you really learn from each other. All right, and from us, we're offering a lot of classes and expert speakers in the industry to show you what's working now and what mistakes to avoid. All right, that's happening August 21st to the 23rd here in Miami, Florida. We are nearing the end of our super early bird phase of our Deco Summit ticket sales. So by the end of this month, on April 26th, so near the end of this month, the ticket prices will be going up. So super early bird is the first phase, of the ticket sales. The event happens in August, so we're only about 4 months away from the event. The super early bird will be the cheapest price the ticket will ever be, and then it goes up in price. All right, so you can see there it will go up by $200 for each type of ticket after April 26th, which is towards the end of this month. So you got about 2.5 weeks to take advantage of super early bird pricing. $595 for the general admission ticket, and for the VIP ticket, where you get access to the hands-on training, right, for 2 days of hands-on training classes, $995. All right. Now, if you're a Ricoma customer, how many of you are a Ricoma customer right now, or you've just purchased a Ricoma machine? Comment down below. If you have a Ricoma machine or a Ricoma product, and you're a current Ricoma customer, comment down below. All right. So I see here, James is a current customer. Linda Russell, obviously, good to see you again, Linda. All right, I think a lot of people here. All right, I am a loyal customer. Thank you, Barbara. All right, so a lot of people, Ricoma EM1010, MT1501. All right, people are naming their machines now. Kenneth Ferguson, MT1501. All right, so you got people that are Caroline, current customer. Awesome, great. So now I have good news for you. All right, if you're a current Ricoma customer, contact your account coordinator, all right, or your account manager. And as current Ricoma customers, you get $200 off Deco Summit tickets at the current price. All right, if you're a Ricoma customer, $200 off current Deco Summit prices. Now, if you contact us, after April 26th, they already go up by $200, right? And then so that's going to be kind of a wash. You're going to be getting it at the price currently, essentially, right? It goes up by $200. You get a $200 discount. You get the current. You essentially get the current price. So if you want to take advantage of additional savings, although this will be the lowest price the tickets will ever be before they go up on April 27th, all right? The moment April 26th passed, April 27th, it's automatically updated on the website. It goes to another phase. Tickets go up by $200 each. All right, but if you want to save even more, if you're a Ricoma customer, contact your account coordinator. If you don't know who your account coordinator is, call in to our line and speak with your account coordinator. Or just, do me a favor and just dig in through your email on who messaged you when you got your machine. All right? Who messaged you when you got your machine? You got an email introducing your point of contact at Ricoma as your account manager. And you get assigned an account manager after you become a Ricoma customer. If you don't even know that, sign into your Ricoma customer portal. It should have your account manager and your contact point of contact in your customer portal. We make that pretty clear. But easiest way, if you want to look in your email, find out kind of who your point of contact is. Contact them. If not, call in to our office. Ask to speak with your account coordinator. They can look up your account and find out who you're assigned to. All right, and then say that, hey, Henry told me that there's $200 off of for Ricoma customers for Deco Summit tickets. Is that true? It's like, yep, that's absolutely true. All right, great. I want to get a couple of VIP tickets, and I want to get the discount. They will be able to put that order in for you. All right. If you order straight through the site, you won't be able to get the $200 off. All right. So attending these lives have a benefit. You heard it here first, that if you're a Ricoma customer, you don't just get the price on the website, you get $200 off of that. But you got to be a Ricoma customer, and we can easily find that out if you call us in, whether you have a machine or not. So if you have a machine and you're a Ricoma customer, you get $200 off. Get that discount from your account coordinator and lock your ticket in before they go up $200. As you can see there, it clearly states on April 27th, general admission goes up to $7.95, and the VIP goes up to $11.95. All right, so take advantage of when they're now $5.95 and $9.95, and take advantage of the $20 off. Get that into your account manager. Okay, get that into your account manager and say, I want to place my order for the tickets today. All right, before it goes up in price, and get me the $200 off per ticket. All right, so if you're bringing yourself and your 3 of your staff, that's $800 in savings. You essentially just brought one guy for free. You essentially brought one guy for free out of 4 people. All right, by getting the $200 off per ticket. All right, so make sure you do that. Don't forget to do that. Don't wait till April 27th and regret not getting the savings. You can still get the $20 savings as a customer, but the ticket just went up by $200, so it's a wash. Okay, so take advantage of that. All right, now on to the kind of the main event of today's live stream. We do have a big announcement. We won't play the Deco Summit video because kind of people already saw that, but let's get into the main event of today's topic of discussion, which is the huge announcements that we have to make. All right, so before I get into that, how many of you have Chroma? How many of you all of you, if you're a Ricoma customer, you have Chroma Inspire as part of the package. How many of you have more than Chroma Inspire? All right, that's first question. Meaning you have Chroma Plus or Chroma Lux. And how many of you out of that are actually using it? You're using it, you're making good use of it, you're attending our webinars to learn about Chroma. Who has Chroma? All right, James again, first one to say I do. All right, Blake, I do. All right, Kayla has Chroma Lux, awesome. All right, Paul also has Chroma Lux. Veronica Torres also raised her hand. Chroma Lux. A lot of Chroma Luxes here. All right, Lux. Good. All right, Kenneth Ferguson, just Inspire. Okay. All right, have Chroma Lux, but have not used it yet. Okay. Oh, and look at this. Blake Firestone, best investment ever. Thank you for that, Chris. I mean, not Chris, Blake. Barbara, I have Chroma Lux. I'm using it. All right, Lux here. Joe from Heart and Hustle Printing, good to see you. All right, a lot of people. Okay, so got a lot of people here. But with 185 of you on the call, on this live stream, not all 185 have it. Many of you have just Inspire. All right, no, I have Inspire. And then Shelly says, no, I wish I did. Okay, and then this question here, Linda, can you get the program without having the machine? Yes, you can. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today as well. All right, but I see a lot of Chroma Lux users. A lot of some Chroma Inspire users. And thank you for this comment as well. Jasenia is the best great rep for Ricoma. Yeah, she's one of the account managers. So if Jasenia is your account manager, call her and get the Deco Summit ticket and tell her Henry said $200 off if I'm a Ricoma customer, and get me a couple of tickets, $200 off each. All right. So the announcement that we're gonna make is that we've made some pretty big changes to Chroma. All right, and I'll first start off by saying that digitizing. You can see even through Deco Summit, we provide digitizing classes. And why do we do that? Each class, we give a laptop to everyone. You follow along and with an instructor, and you learn how to do digitizing. Why do we do that? Because we feel that digitizing is not only another revenue maker for your embroidery business, but it is essential to learn digitizing to become a good or a great embroiderer. That's like an essential skill, because half of the input half of the output on good embroidery is from good input on digitizing. Right? Wouldn't you agree? Who agrees here that digitizing is essential to get good embroidery? You can't just have an auto-digitized file from your digitizer, or you auto-digitize it and expect that to be a good output. Wouldn't you agree? So we've really kind of, over this last year or so, essentially, we've really kind of honed in on making Chroma as good as it can be. And so we've been kind of working behind the scenes to make it even better. And Joe from Heart and Hustle Printing, we do it now in-house thanks to Lux. All right, great. Awesome to hear that. Awesome to hear that. Right? So a lot of you would agree, right, that you need a good file. So digitizing is an essential skill. So we wanted to put more efforts into Chroma and building out Chroma to be the best that it can be for all of our customers, and for people that just want to learn digitizing. All right. So here are a couple of things that we're announcing and that we're changing about Chroma. All right. First and foremost, Chroma can now be purchased directly on its own website, chromaembroidery.com. All right. If you go to chromaembroidery.com, it's live right now. You can go to chromaembroidery.com and you can purchase Chroma directly on this website. All right. So no longer have to just go through our reps or whatever the case is. All right. Or on shop.ricoma.com. You can purchase it directly on chromaembroidery.com. That's the first thing. Second thing, with this revamp of Chroma, we've added a lot of different features, and we're changing it to a subscription model. Okay? We're changing Chroma to a subscription model. How it was before, which I'll call the legacy model. Some of you might, those of you that have Chroma right now, you have the legacy model. Now it's termed the legacy model. And you can use that for as long as you want. All right? You purchase it, you can use it for as long as you want. But now we have this Chroma in a subscription model, which we've added a ton of features to, some of which I'll kind of go over in a short bit. But we've added a ton of fonts. We've added a ton of like different features on your editing tools. We added like a 3D view, so like a more realistic view of your design. We've added a 3D preview on a garment, so that you can have like a 3D rendering of your garment. We've done some like pretty cool stuff, which I'll kind of show you in a PDF, in a document, just shortly. Okay, but you can see some there. realistic view. You got your texture backgrounds, 3D models, so you can kind of see how it looks like on a sample garment, right? And you can even see where what tiers some of these features are available in. We made also some of the editing and font tools a little bit quicker. So you have this like new select same feature, which you can change. You can make multiple changes, same changes to designs or elements in your design that have similar elements, so that you can select the same things, similar things, and make the change all at once. You got a bunch of new fonts. We got 150 fonts for Chroma Inspire, 200 fonts for Plus, and 250 fonts for Lux. All right, 250 fonts for Chroma Lux. All right, I think it was like a fraction of that before, maybe like 50 to 100. We added a ton of new fonts for Chroma Lux. All right, on your digitizing tools, you get a bunch of new quick tools as well. You get these new parametric shapes, so new shapes, new satin fill types, so different stitch types. All right, you get this steel stitch, right? New stitch types, so you can make different types of designs, different types of looks and textures on your digitizing and on your embroidery. All right, you also got we scroll down a bit there, and you got this is a great one, the stitch estimator, because a lot of you are like, oh well, like I kind of want to know just roughly like how many stitches this design is. The stitch estimator kind of gives you an idea of that. Even though I tell everyone don't price based on the number of stitches, kind of gives you a rough idea of like what I'm working with, right? And knowing the number of stitches, you kind of roughly know how long it will take you to do that design, right? So a stitch estimator, and a bunch of other options, color blending, shaping options. The list goes on, right? And we have this document which I'm happy to share with you guys. It will be on our website, detailing all of the different features that we've added. New fonts, all of these tools, shaping tools, editing tools, 3D rendering view, stitch estimator, right? All of these things. So we've added that to Chroma, the new Chroma subscription model. All right, and so going forward, Chroma is going to be on a subscription model. And I'll kind of tell you at the end of this how legacy users can kind of switch over to the subscription model if you choose to do so. But for new users, this is how it works. You subscribe to Chroma, you pay a one-time kind of like base fee and a platform fee, kind of like to implement the software, to kind of get the platform, and what that comes with that is also a 1-year subscription to that license. Then once the year expires, you can be on a monthly or yearly plan thereafter for a small monthly fee, so that you continuously get the updates every quarter. We're planning quarterly updates on this new Chroma subscription model. Okay, quarterly updates, because right now other digitizing companies, other digitizing software companies, what they do is they sell you the software, and you guys know this, whether it's I won't name the competitor names, but they're very very well known in the industry. They come out with a dongle, right, very outdated. They come out with a dongle. And that's how your subscription is activated. But then once new features come out, you have to buy a new version. Maybe the 4th version comes out or the 5th generation comes out. You got to spend another couple of $1,000s to buy the new version, right? With us, you pay a one-time fee that gets you a 1-year subscription to the new Chroma subscription model, and then thereafter, all right, if you want to pay monthly, you can pay $19 a month for Inspire, $39 a month for Plus, or $49 a month for Lux. All right, you can see the breakdown there. That's if it's billed monthly. If you want to bill it yearly, you get 20% off on the monthly fee. You get essentially two months free. Right? So you're paying for 10 months. You're paying for 10 months, but you're getting 12 months. So instead of $19 a month, it's $190 a year. Right? So you're paying the equivalent of 10 months, but getting a whole year's worth of license. On the Chroma Plus, $390 a year or $490 a year for Chroma Lux. All right, so if you want to pay it on a yearly basis, you get 2 months free. And that's after the initial 12 months, all right, which is kind of your base fee, your implementation and initiation fee, and we call it an activation fee, right, to get access to the platform. And then thereafter, lifetime updates. Lifetime updates. As soon as new features come out, you get access to it. It's over the air. We don't have a dongle. We don't have anything of that sort. Any new features come out, it will prompt you. Do you want to update your Chroma to the newest version 1.8? Okay, you press OK, you download, boom, new features, new buttons, whatever the case is, it appears right then on your license. All right, that's the benefit of having a subscription model where it's continuous updates and not have to be able to, have to purchase a new license every time the software makes major changes, right? So we took this opportunity to really add a bunch of features to Chroma. And for the legacy users, this is how it will work to upgrade your license if you choose to. If you don't, that's completely fine. You can continue to use your Chroma legacy license. All right. If you purchased a Chroma Lux in the past, you purchased it 6-7 months ago, you can use that for as long as you want. If that fits your need, as long as you want. All right. If you want to upgrade and change over to the subscription model, all right, the subscription model has a little bit of a higher fee in the activation fee for the first year. You just pay that difference, so you get a credit for whatever you spent, even though you used it for 6 months, a year, 2 years. All right, if you bought Chroma Lux 2 years ago, you've used it for 2 years, you get a credit for whatever you spent, right? If you spend $2,000 on Chroma Lux, you get a credit of $2,000. The new Chroma Lux is $2,500. You pay a difference of $500. You switch over. We're able to get your license switched over to the subscription license, and then you get a full year. You get another full year with this switch. All right. So if you bought it 2 years ago, you make that switch. Pay the difference and switch over. You get onto the subscription model. All right, and then after the year of the new subscription model, and that license ends, you can choose whether you want to stay on for your tier at the monthly fee or the yearly fee to save you, get you a saving of 2 extra months. All right, that's the guarantee that we have the resources and the capability to continuously make upgrades to Chroma for the lifetime that Chroma is available. So it's never ending in terms of the, this is not have to upgrade to another version. It just lifetime upgrades. As long as you're a subscriber, you get lifetime upgrades to the new features. And we plan to roll that out every single quarter. All right, and we'll kind of announce it on the website as well. It's like, new features that are coming out. So you kind of constantly see what new features are coming out with Chroma. On top of that, all right, so the legacy users, whatever you have right now, we won't be making any more upgrades and features to legacy. Now, if there's any bugs or anything like that, we'll make sure to fix that. But our focus is going to be on making sure that Chroma subscription going forward is going to be as good as possible, because we've already added a ton of features, as I had described to you. We're going to continuously make more features on Chroma subscription and put our resources there. So I encourage you to, if you want to switch over and get those lifetime upgrades, and also just right now, if you upgrade to Chroma subscription, you already get all those new features that I mentioned. Those are not down the road; those are right now. Okay, this is to make sure that we have the continuous resources to continue to put our efforts towards upgrading Chroma subscription. Now, on top of that, all right, to even give you guys even more value. Remember how I mentioned about digitizing and learning how to digitize? Not only do we offer that at Deco Summit, which is part of the seminars that we offer at Deco Summit, but as part of, if you're a Chroma subscriber on this new subscription, you get access to more webinars and more classes. So as a subscriber, you're not only getting subscribing to the software, you're subscribing to education. You're for Chroma, the new subscribers, all right, or people that have the legacy and are switching over to the subscription license. If you have a Chroma subscription license, you get access to exclusive webinars about how to use Chroma, because also it's got all these new features. So we want to show you how to use it. We want to show you how to use the stitch estimator. We want to show you how to use all these new tools. All right. We want to show you how to use these new fonts. What fonts are accessible. We want to show you all these new shortcuts that's able to make your editing and shorten the time frame in your editing, so that you can be faster and do more with digitizing in-house. All right. We'll show you all of that on the Chroma subscription license. If you're a Chroma subscriber, you get access to exclusive classes every single week. All right, so a lot of benefits, a lot of features that are being rolled out. That's really the big announcements that I wanted to get to. I think that digitizing and Chroma is an area that we really want to focus on going forward as well, because I feel like, digitizing, a lot of people run into issues with embroidery because of poor digitizing. Right? As many of you have raised your hand and agreed with me, poor digitizing feeds, poor embroidery. Garbage in, garbage out. So I feel like it's our duty to educate the consumers about how to digitize. And even if you don't want to digitize and you want to just outsource it to someone else, that's great. That's fine. But knowing how digitizing works, even if you don't have Chroma Lux, but you just have Chroma Inspire or whatever the case is, but knowing how digitizing works, you can simply make simple edits and see what your digitizer is doing wrong to correct it, right? So you don't rely on just the knowledge of someone else, of what they say, but you can make corrections on the fly and not have to wait for another 24 hours to turn your corrections around. And you have more control over the quality of your embroidery because of the quality of your digitizing. And not to mention the additional revenue stream that you get, right? I'm sure that a lot of you provide design services, and those of you that digitize in-house, you can see the benefit of doing that, right? You can see the benefit of offering that design service and charging, a setup fee for your digitizing. Or even better, having the ability to be like, hey, I do digitizing in-house, and because I control my costs, I can waive the setup fee if you order over 500 pieces. Drive volume with an incentive on the digitizing aspect of it. But you can only do that when you can control your costs, when you can control your time. All right, so we feel that Chroma is an important part of kind of our growth strategy going forward, and an important part of kind of our customers' education as well going forward. All right, so that's the announcement I want to make. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have. I saw a bunch of comments. I'll try to kind of scroll through them, answer anything that any questions that you guys might have, and be happy to clarify anything if it's not clear. So here's a question from Sandra. So if I was considering Ricoma embroidery machine, it will require a subscription? So no, the Chroma subscription and Ricoma embroidery machine is two separate things. If you're purchasing a Ricoma embroidery machine, it comes with Chroma Inspire, all right? And from this day forward, from this announcement forward, new purchases for Ricoma embroidery machines is going to come with a Chroma Inspire subscription. That's free for the first year, right? So you're essentially getting Chroma Inspire for free for the first year. If you choose to stay on afterwards, that's when you pay, for Chroma Inspire $19 a month or $190 a year, right? Thereafter. But for new purchases, if you're purchasing an embroidery machine, Chroma subscription comes with that. You can upgrade it. You can be like, oh, I want to, instead get Chroma Plus or Chroma Lux. You can upgrade it, but we give you Chroma Inspire for free on a Chroma Inspire subscription license for free, and that includes the activation fee for the first year. And thereafter, if you want to continue to use it and continue to get the perpetual upgrades of new features, and that's when you will pay the subscription fee or the monthly fee. If you choose to pay yearly, you get the 2 month of discount. Oh yeah, and I did forget to mention, for new subscribers, if you're looking to subscribe to Chroma on chromaembroidery.com, I did forget to mention that for this launch until April 30th, we are offering 20% off new subscriptions on chromaembroidery.com. All right, so the price on chromaembroidery.com is already reflecting the 20% off. All right, you can see the normal price, and then you can see the discounted price of 20% off. That offer ends on April 30th. All right, as part of this launch. So Mark B also asked a similar question: will new machine buyers get the basic Inspire package, or have to get in with subscription? So as I previously have answered, for new machine buyers, you get the basic Inspire package, and that package includes a 1-year subscription to Chroma Inspire. If you choose to, thereafter, stay on, you can, to continue to use it, you can pay the monthly fee or the yearly fee if you want to subscribe for a year and get some savings. If you don't, then you can cancel, right? So, but for new machine purchases, we essentially give you a 1-year license for Chroma Inspire. All right, so you don't have to come. It's already included in your machine package. Is basically what I'm trying to say, right? It's already included in your machine package as it is now, right? If you even with the legacy Chroma Inspire, people that purchase a Chroma embroidery machine get Chroma Inspire, and that's how if they want to upgrade, they can upgrade, right? So similarly, from this point forward, new machine purchases will include the Chroma subscription license for a year. Jin XU2 asks question: will there be classes to use the new software? Of course. Like I mentioned, as a subscriber, you get access to exclusive classes in your customer portal, right? So you can sign up for different slots and train with a live trainer, right? So we have even Chroma classes now on a weekly basis, but subscribers will get access to those classes that are talking specifically about the features of the new subscription license, right? The features that I mentioned. Letitia asks, since I just purchased a machine, do I still get it for free? You already got Chroma Inspire for free. I don't know how long ago you purchased the machine. When you say you just purchased it, I don't know how long ago you purchased that. But if it was before today, then it was Chroma, the legacy Chroma Inspire, which you can have forever if you want, right? Like I said, it's not a if you already have Chroma, you have Chroma Legacy. You can still use that. That doesn't go away. All right, but new machine purchases will include Chroma subscription. So people are only getting the subscription license going forward with Chroma Inspire, and you get that free for the first year. If you don't want to use it thereafter, you don't have to. Right, but if you purchased the machine before today, which you probably did, then you already got Chroma Inspire for free, and you can use that forever. You can use that forever if you want. Will there still be training on the legacy versions? Asked Sharon. So the trainings that we do are going to apply for both legacy and subscription, right? But subscription get a lot more that applies to subscription. But it doesn't mean that legacy training is going away. We're still doing trainings now. I think 2 or 3 times a week. But it won't cover the features about the subscription license, because you don't have that feature in the legacy version, right? You don't have those tools in the legacy version, but those are still going to be there, and you can sign up for those. But slowly we're going to transition everything to focus more on the Chroma subscribers and providing training for those people. So we're going to be tailoring a lot more content on these new features and how to use them and how to, maximize your efficiency with those new features. Blake asks a good question. What if we have legacy and need to install it on a new computer? Will we be able to still download and transfer to a new computer, or will we be forced to do the subscription? You can still transfer it. Again, if you want to use the legacy version forever, you can absolutely do that. You already purchased it. Another good thing I forgot to mention about the subscription license. I believe right now the legacy version, you get 2 activations, right? Meaning you can activate it on 2 computers. You can't use it simultaneously, but you can activate it on 2 computers, and that comes with your legacy license. For the subscription license, you get 5 activations. So you can activate it on 5 computers. You can't use it simultaneously, just like the legacy version, but you get 5 activations. So if your computer broke, you don't really have to contact us to get another activation. You get 5, up to 5 activations. So you get 3 more activations with the subscription license. Now I also want to clarify. Maybe it wasn't clear. I thought I made it pretty clear. If you have the legacy version, as I mentioned, you can use that for as long as you want. Nothing changes. You are, however, encouraged and incentivized to switch over to the subscription license for a variety of reasons that I mentioned, right? More classes, more training, more features that we've already added, right? Those are not going to be be available on legacy. And as we continue to invest resources on the subscription model or the subscription license, the new features are going to come out on that license, not on the legacy license. And that's why you get the lifetime updates, right? Right now, the legacy version, we're not really making a lot of updates, because you kind of it can do a lot of what you need. But hey, if some new feature comes out, if there's a faster way of doing things, we're gonna prioritize the subscription model and the subscription license to roll out those features. That being said, if you want to switch over from legacy to subscription, I think it might be a little bit of a confusion that you're not paying another subscription price. You're simply paying the difference, because the subscription price and the subscription license is a little bit more expensive because it has more features. It's like rolling out a new version of the software, and quite a big version update. It's not just kind of like minor updates. We're talking about the list of features, the number of activations, the 3D rendering of your design. You're talking about the stitch estimator. All of those are great tools that we've added to the subscription license. So it justifies a slightly higher price. And what we're saying is, if you have the legacy version, if you want to get on the subscription license, all you need to do is you get a credit for what you spent on the legacy license, and you just pay the difference. And for the difference of like Chroma Inspire, let's say, it's $200, right? For I believe for the Chroma Plus and Lux, it's $500, right? I think that's the price difference. So you're just paying the difference because you're getting a credit, right? You're getting a discount or a credit for what you already spent on legacy, right? It's just that legacy is not going to get these new features. These new features that I mentioned are only available right now on the subscription license. Okay, so I kind of want to. Some people might have thought, like, oh, to get the subscription license, I need to pay another $2,000 for Lux, or $2,500 for the new price of Lux. No, that's not the case. If you already have Lux, and you want to upgrade to the change over to the subscription model from the legacy model, you're paying the difference of what you spent on Chroma Legacy and the new license. Okay, so that might be a little bit something I want to make sure people understand. So George Lopez Design asked this question that's not related to Chroma, but I visited your website. I could not find a page or phone number that I can sign up for embroidery classes before purchasing a Ricoma machine so I can get familiar with one. So George, if you don't have a machine, there's nothing to really train on, right? Our training is with people with their machine, and we're kind of walking you through what to do on your machine. If you don't have a machine to train on, there's the training class will be a moot point. You don't really kind of know what to do. You don't have a machine in front of you to actually follow along with the instructor on what you need to do. If you want to kind of know kind of how the machine is or what it does, we have virtual demos. You can call us. We can schedule a virtual demo. We can show you what the machine does live. That's really kind of what that's for. But if you want kind of to get familiar with the machine, if you don't have a machine, how can you get familiar with it when you don't have the machine in front of you? You don't know how to thread it. You don't know how to operate the panel. You're kind of lost without a physical machine to follow along. That's why the training is after the purchase. But if you want to see how the machine works and what it looks like and what it does, that's what a virtual demo is for. You don't need a machine to schedule a virtual demo with us. Catskill Embroidery asks, so what software is going to come with the new machines? Like I mentioned before, it's going to come with the Chroma Inspire subscription license. Okay? And that includes 1 year free of Chroma Inspire. Veronica Torres asked, wait, legacy users won't be able to make good use of Training Portal anymore for Chroma. No, you will still have your legacy Chroma license. It'll be named legacy on your customer portal, and whatever classes we currently have for legacy users, if it applies to the new Chroma subscribers as well, then it'll be for both. And then when we have Chroma subscriber-specific features that we're talking about, then it will be for those subscribers only, because it wouldn't apply if you have the legacy license. So Sandra Civil says here, I'm a legacy user, but don't see the benefit to keep paying through subscriptions. Well, the benefit is, and as I mentioned, you're more than welcome to keep using your legacy version. That doesn't go away. Nobody is forced to change over to the new license. But the benefits, I thought I clearly kind of outlined what the benefits are, in that, one, you get continuous updates. Right now, that's not, because there's no resources to go behind continuous updates. You got to go through software development, as I'm sure many of you can understand. That it takes resources and it takes effort to make sure that we continuously update the software. The legacy model that you currently have right now is what's available with a lot of other digitizing companies. And if you want to stick to that model, as I mentioned, nothing is going away. We're not taking away Chroma Legacy. Whatever Chroma Inspired plus Lux that you have currently, those features that are currently on there will stay on there. You can use it forever if you want, right? But it's not possible for us to continue to upgrade the features on that software without a subscription model. And that's what the subscription offers you. You can think of it in a different way. If you buy any other digitizing software, right, and it's version 1.0, all right, and 2 years later it comes out with version 2.0, what do you need to do? You can choose to stay on version 1.0 and continue to use it for as long as you want, or if you want the latest and greatest and all the new features, you need to buy another version 2.0, and that can be at full price. That's not just $19. That's not just $39 per month, or even a couple of $100. You're talking about a couple of $1,000 as a new upgrade, a complete different license. That's what Wilcom does. with from E3 to E4. E3 is a not license in itself. You get a dongle. If you want E4 and all the new features that come in E4, what do you need to do? You need to buy E4. You need to be able to purchase E4 to get the latest and greatest, because E3 is no longer being updated with those features. So what we're saying is have everything in one license, and to get continuous features and updates and the maintenance of keeping up the software, right? Bug free, and keep on having to update the software. We need to make sure that there's resources to be put behind that, and the subscription after the first year, $19 a month, $39 a month, $49 a month, keeps that going, right? For 19, 20, 20, 30 bucks a month, that's what goes to maintaining the software and continuously updating its features. Otherwise, you have a legacy version that you can still use for whatever it is that you need, but it's just not going to get the continuous updates. That's the benefit. And on top of that, we're adding even more classes for the new subscribers as well, as an additional perk, right? We don't have to, but as an additional perk to show that, like, hey, we're offering a lot of value in the new license. And just the new license itself, as it currently stands, like I mentioned, already has a lot of those features that legacy version doesn't have, right? And so that's the benefit. If you want the new features, change to the new license. If you don't want the new features and you kind of want to continue to use legacy, you're more than welcome to do that. That does not go away, right? It will stay forever. All right. You got some people that think it will be a good change, because I think some people realize that there's benefit to having new features, right? But if you like I said, you have a choice. It's not like you don't have a choice. You do have a choice. If you want to stay on the legacy, you can use that for as long as you want. And like I said, we have a commitment to make sure that it is bug free. So if there's a bug and we see a bug and users report a bug on legacy, we will still be able to guarantee that it is fixed, right? If there's a bug. But if you're talking about, like, hey, the new stitch estimator, right? I want a new feature on, like, how to estimate the number of stitches. Oh, how about you roll out this new steel stitch, or this new applique feature, or a new feature on 3D puff, right? We get requests all the time on, like, how to make certain things better. And the only way to do that is to be able to have the resources directed towards upgrading the actual software. So right now we're doing that in a limited capacity, and that's why over the last year we said, you know what, to really make this viable and better for everyone, we need to have these new features kind of constantly rolled out. That's why we're on a quarterly schedule with this new subscription license to roll out new features. Some might be big, some might be small, but that's what is going to keep the license going, right? So that's where we see the benefit, and for some of you that see that's a good change, and it's a minimal cost of maintenance, right? Essentially, you can think of the monthly fee thereafter as like a maintenance fee to kind of get the latest new features and to get the support, right? You continuously want to be able to get the support and ask questions, how to do certain things, the webinars, the classes, all of that, right? That's what that fee goes towards. If it's just the legacy and that's it, where is the money going to come from to get the people to be able to train and continue to provide those classes, right? You can only provide up to a certain point where then it's no longer viable. So the efforts are going to be more focused on updating these features in the future with these resources that we're able to get. Right, David Williams. All of this is great news. Deco Summit discounts and Roma subscription. Right, so I know that there's some like conflicting opinions here, and that's what we expected, but that's fine, right? I want to reassure you guys that if you already have Chroma right now, nothing goes away, right? We're not taking it away that you can't use Chroma Legacy anymore and forcing you on this new license. If you want the new license, we welcome it. We hope that you see the value in what the new license is able to provide with all these new features and training and all of that. And if you feel that that's not for you, you can stay on the legacy license, and that won't go away, right? So I think it kind of keeps everyone happy as to what they want, right? Some people want the latest and greatest, and to be honest, we also get feedback that the old way of doing things of rolling out a new software every 2 years with all these new features, but then you have to buy it at full price. You already spent $2,000 on the first software, and then you have to spend another $2,000 or $3,000 because it's a newer software again. So now you have two software. One is a little bit older, and one is newer. It's like Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Office, right? Like, people are going over to a subscription model because it helps to keep everything updated. So you don't have to, back in the day, you buy a Microsoft Office CD, right? And then you can use that forever, right? That's your license, right? You can use that forever. But then what happens if Office, a new version of Office comes out? If you want that, you have to buy it. If you don't, you just stay on, Office 2006. If you want it, you got to go to Office 2010. And then it comes out another one in Office, 2013, right? So now Microsoft is like everything just on a subscription model, so that it's continuous updates. No longer do you have to wait 3 years for a set of new features that you have to buy over again. You can get updates more frequently if you're a subscriber, so that whoever is a subscriber, you can get the latest and greatest as soon as it rolls out. You don't have to wait till 3 years to build a whole new software with all these new features and then roll it out, and then you have to buy it over again anyways, right? So there's kind of like benefits to both sides. But if you want to stay on the legacy license, as I gave you the example of the Microsoft Office, if you want to stay on Office 2010, then stay on Office 2010. You just won't get the features of Office 2013, right? You just won't get the features of the next version. But it doesn't mean that you can't use Office 2010, right? You can still use it. Irvin asked, with this subscription, if I'm having a problem with the design, would I get one-on-one assistance like we do with tech support for embroidery machines? Yeah, I'm not even sure if you know that we do offer Chroma support. So that's already something that we offer. Whether you're a legacy user or a subscription user, that doesn't go away. Again, it's just the features won't be updated for legacy. Right? And the fact that a lot of people is like, oh, I want to activate it on multiple computers, right? And the fact that we increased that from 2 to 5 between legacy and the subscription license, that's another additional benefit. More Than Thread says the change is good. I'm hoping the legacy continues with great customer service. Yeah, of course. That's not gonna go away. We're not gonna leave you, hanging with not knowing how to use it. That's why as I said, legacy webinars and all of that will continue to go on. But are they going to go on at the frequency of the new the new license? When we roll out new features, like in 3 months, next quarter, if we roll out a bunch of new other features and we want to teach people how to use it, we're going to be making a lot of videos on those, right? We're going to be having a lot of live webinars on those features, right? And those for a legacy user, it doesn't really apply, right? But if we talk about like, oh, how to do a satin stitch, right? We're going to still teach. We're going to still have to teach the basics to the new subscribers as well. So as we do those classes, yeah, those are going to be also available for legacy users because it applies to you, right? How to do satin stitches, how to do a fill stitch, how to do digitizing on caps, right? Those applies to either or. But when we start to use like tools that are only specific, whether it's a shortcut, whether it's faster, right? These updates to the software that's only specific to the subscribers, then it doesn't, it doesn't apply to the legacy users, right? But when things do apply to both, like basic fundamentals about digitizing, then it can definitely apply. Anyone's welcome to join. Kevin Danko asks, for new machine buyers, can we pay extra to get Lux for the first year? Yes. As I mentioned, you get Inspire for free for the first year. So if you want to pay extra to get Lux, to get all the added features of Lux for also a year, you get a credit. You just pay the difference. You get the credit of Chroma Inspire because we're already giving you to that for free as a machine buyer for the first year, right? At the new price. I believe Chroma Inspire is $799. So you get a credit of $799 so towards your upgrade of the new Lux license. So you can definitely do that. You can do that now, or you can do that previously with the legacy license too, right? Oh, I buy my machine, but I want to upgrade to Lux. I can do it at the time of the purchase, right? You can do that. What I'm saying now is that if you have Lux, or if you have Plus, or if you have Inspire Legacy, right? If you want to change over to subscription, you don't have to, but if you want to get the new features, you're still getting a credit for what you spend. So you're not buying it over, right? Oh, if I just spent $2,000 on Chroma Lux yesterday, I'm not asking you to spend another $2,000 to get the new features. You're just paying the difference as if you are buying today the new license, right? You're getting a credit. Even if you bought it 5 years ago. If you have Chroma Lux from 5 years ago, 3 years ago, you can keep on using it for another 5 years if you want to, right? Or you can pay the difference to the subscription model and be able to get the new features. Letitia G asked, since I already purchased before today, I will get Inspire for free without subscription fee indefinitely, correct? Correct. And you can stay on that for as long as you want. Brenda Parker says, I think this is a good thing. So software is constantly evolving and you don't get stuck in a rut with outdated software. That's precisely that's like the crux of why we're doing this, you know. And you have to also understand, right, as business owners, you guys are running businesses too. Like if you want to continuously upgrade the software to be the latest and greatest, which we want for our customers, where is that resource going to come from? You have to hire developers, right? You have to hire different designers to redesign the software. You have to think about new features. Where's that resource going to come from? That's what the subscription fee pays for. So the continuous upgrade, so that you always, if the new feature rolls out tomorrow, bam, you already get the newest feature. You don't have to wait. Right? So you don't go a day without having the latest and greatest software. Your software is always the latest version. If you choose to update it, right? That's also not forced. It just gives you a prompt, just like you're on your iPhone, on your phone, right? Oh, there's a new firmware available for your phone. It will update tonight. You can choose to download it, or you can choose to not upgrade it, right? So it will prompt you in Chroma, hey, there's a new version available, and it will give you some version notes as to what the upgrades are, and then you're like, okay, yeah, if I want to upgrade to that, then I click accept, and then it will download the latest version. If you decline, it will just stay on your current version, just like your phone. Kimberly asks, so after a year, the software will stop working if you do not renew, correct? Correct. If you do not get on if you're on the subscription model, all right, this is I want to clarify. If you have a subscription license after the first year, all right, if you do not want to use it anymore and you do not pay the monthly fee, right, of the $19 or $39, depending on what tier, what version of Chroma you have, what tier of Chroma you have, then you're not subscribing to the software, so therefore the license is no longer activated, right? The license is, we're giving you the license free for a year, right? If you have the legacy model, right, that's free forever. You already bought it. There's no fee, right? But you're not also getting the new features. So yes, what your statement is correct with the note that, yeah, if you're on the subscription license, all right, if you're on the legacy license, there's nothing to renew. It's a perpetual license, right? But if you're on a subscription license with these new features and you want the latest and greatest, then yes, if you stop subscribing, then you're not using the software. Rodney Malloy asks, if you upgrade Chroma, is there still a subscription fee? So if you choose to do any upgrade, all right, you can only upgrade if you switch over to the subscription model. You cannot upgrade within legacy. Okay, you can only upgrade if you want to switch over to the corresponding subscription model or higher tiers if you want to upgrade tiers. But any sort of upgrade, because the legacy model is there's no more new licenses for legacy. That's why it's called legacy. It's being sunsetted, right? We're still supporting it. We're still provide service and support and any bug fixes and even the fundamentals on how to use it. But there's no more from this day on. There's no more new additional legacy licenses. Those have been terminated, right? Like if a customer comes in today and says like, hey, I want to buy a new legacy license, the software has already changed that new legacy licenses and serial numbers are not being generated, right? Because the subscription licenses have a different naming convention for the serial number. So the serial numbers are a complete set of different serial numbers. If you change over from legacy to the subscription license, you get a new serial number. It's a new serial number. It's not the old serial number. The old serial numbers, there's no more legacy serial numbers being generated. If you had one before, great, keep it. You can keep it forever. But if you want to change it over to subscription, the old legacy license serial number, it's gone, right? Because it's two different sets of serial numbers. That's your activation for your. That's how you get your license. That's your license. More Than Thread asks, will Legacy still have access to all the older trading videos? Yes, I mentioned that as well. We also have a Chroma YouTube channel. If you don't know, we have Chroma digitizing software on YouTube, and those are all based on the as of currently still based on the legacy version. Going forward, we'll be making a lot more videos based on the subscription license, right? Sandra asks, so that I'm clear, are you saying your machine runs with Chroma on the screen attached? So if I purchase and do not want to subscribe after the year, would it make the machine unable to work? No, the machine and Chroma are two separate things. I think that's a common, or maybe common or not so common, misconception about the machine and the software. The machine itself can run without Chroma. All right, we give you the Chroma Inspire in the machine package. If you don't want, if some people never use it, they want to outsource their digitizing and they never use it. The machine still works, right? So you just can't use Chroma. You can't use the digitizing, right? Chroma works with all sorts of machines, right? We have a list of different file formats that Chroma works with. We have other people without our machines buying Chroma, right? Just for digitizing, right? We have a ton of customers doing that. And so Chroma works independent of the machine. It's a digitizing software. It's not the machine's firmware. The machine works standalone by itself, right? It's not that you're buying a machine and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but I'm not subscribing to Chroma anymore. Yeah, your machine still works, right? That's the machine. This is a digitizing software, all right? Maybe that wasn't clear. Team Beyond Everything asks, will the legacy copies continue to be upgraded? No, unless it's for bug fixes that something doesn't work properly. We're not adding new features to it, right? All new features will be prioritized for the subscription license. That's why there's a difference between legacy and there's a benefit to the subscription model, right? You get the latest upgrades and the features, right? But legacy will still be supported, but we're not adding features to it, right? We've already added probably 15, 20 different features, 20 different updates to these new subscription model. If you want to switch over, you get access to that. But legacy right now doesn't have that, and we're not looking to bring new features that we're adding to subscription back to legacy. So Christy Ross here kind of answered, in the similar way that I answered to Sandra's question. Chroma is the digitizing software that runs on your computer, is not needed for anything with your embroidery machine. That's correct. Abby Townsend asks, is the Chroma software only if you do your own digitizing? Yeah, that's the main reason why people use it. Or you outsource your digitizing, but you want to make some simple edits. Or you want to do some simple digitizing on your own without having to spend the $20, $25 to a digitizer. Some people just have to type in some text of a name or a simple logo or a simple shape, right? If you have to send that out because you don't know how to do digitizing, you're sending it out to someone else. You can still do that. But as I preface this by saying that knowing how to digitize not only is helpful for you to generate additional revenue, but it helps you to understand how embroidery works, so that you're not just taking a file and just plugging it in and thinking it's plug and play, right? There's a lot that goes into digitizing, and why digitizing is a skill in itself is so that you can make sure that you can do proper embroidery. Kimberly Kaufman asks, Chroma Legacy user here. So if I have the Legacy version and I don't subscribe, I can continue to use the software, but I do not get any of the newer updates. Am I understanding that right? Correct. You can continue to use the Legacy version, but there's no further feature updates to the Legacy version. If there's a bug, we'll still be able to fix it. We'll still support it, right? But no new features, no rollouts of new features and new updates. Brenda Parker, I am excited for this. Thank you for reiterating your excitement. Jin next to you too asks, do you automatically go back to Legacy if you don't continue the subscription after the year? No. Once you go to the subscription license, the Legacy, as I mentioned before, the Legacy serial number is terminated. You do not go back to the Legacy version. All right. So if you want to change over, you stay on the subscription license. If you don't want to subscribe anymore, then you can also stop there. But then you won't have the software. You won't have a Legacy version. All right. It doesn't automatically revert back to Legacy, because as I mentioned, there's two serial numbers. There's a Legacy serial number, and if you change to the new license, it has a new license number, right? Those are not the same. It doesn't just kind of mirror the same number. So once you change over, the old Legacy serial number, it's wiped out from the system, right? Because again, there's no more new serial numbers being generated, right? So it does not go back to the Legacy model. Also, I did want to mention that you can also upgrade and downgrade within the subscription model too. So like if you subscribe to Chroma Lux in the new license, but then you're like, oh, you know what? I don't want to pay that fee or for whatever reason, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I just want to downgrade to Chroma Inspire. You can do that. It will be on the Chroma Inspire new license, right? And you're paying the fee for Chroma Inspire. So you can upgrade and downgrade as you wish in the new license. Christine asked, I purchased mine in full. Would it automatically upgrade? No, you would have to, you would choose to upgrade, and then whatever you paid in full for, you get a credit for that, right? So you're only paying the difference of what the new subscription license costs. Kylie asks, for those purchasing an embroidery machine in the near future, would they get the legacy Chroma still? No. From this day forward, there's no more legacy licenses being generated, right? No more legacy licenses. So for new people purchasing embroidery machines, it's all on the Chroma subscription license. And again, you get that with your machine package. You get Chroma Inspire free for a year. Stacy Shaver asked, "What are the different levels of the subscriptions, and what are the benefits of each?" I kind of showed you that. We'll put that on the website. So just let's make a note of that to put it on chromaembroidery.com. It will show you all the benefits. Actually, right now, even if you go to chromaembroidery.com, isn't there a comparison? If you can go to like the comparison page of chromaembroidery.com, you can see all of the different features. But we'll add a kind of a summary of the new features of the subscription license. Yeah, Sandra says that you usually buy digitized designs, not interested in digitizing. That's completely fine. Not every one of our customers does digitizing. It is an option, and it's not a requirement to run your machine, right? Greatness in the making, just getting in. Can I still purchase the software perpetual license? No, as I mentioned, from this day forward, there's no more legacy licenses being generated. So no more serial numbers. So from this day forward, Chroma is on the subscription model for new customers, right? If you don't have Chroma right now, you cannot buy legacy version. Legacy, as the name states, it's like if you already have it, you're like grandfathered in to this legacy version. If you don't have Chroma, then you can't go back to buy a legacy version. Linda Brown says, so if I have Chroma Lux, would I have to have a subscription in order to get software updates and training? So a couple of nuances here. If you have Chroma Lux and the legacy version, if you want the new features and software updates for the features, yes, you would need to be on the subscription license. For training, you still get training for either one. It would just be more training on the new version. Okay, so it's not that you don't get training anymore for legacy. We still provide them to this day, 2 to 3 classes a week. But we'll be having more for the new license because there's more features. There's more to talk about. T-Town shirts T-shirt says, so you lose your standalone version. No, if you already have a Chroma Legacy, you do not lose that. That you can use that for as long as you want. All right, you just won't get the new features. Blake Firestone asks, if we plan on purchasing... By the way, all these are great questions, guys. I've never done a live that's like an hour, 45 minutes long. But this is a lot of questions, and I'm only like halfway through. I'm not probably not gonna get to all of them, and a lot of the questions are kind of very similar. But I typically do this only for an hour. But a lot of people have a lot of questions about this, and I get it. And sometimes it might be you're clarifying things. Hey, if I don't get the new license, is my machine gonna stop working? Like all of that is sometimes maybe a little bit funny in that sense. But I want to make sure I clarify as many questions as I can. So these are all very great questions that you guys are asking, and very engaging. And by the way, we haven't even gotten to the giveaway yet. So the fact that still 160 of you are on this live stream, asking questions, waiting for the giveaway, is something that I truly appreciate. So I thank you for that, and thank you for all these great questions, so that I can help clarify, any doubts or anything that might be a little bit confusing. Which I understand that sometimes it could be like a misunderstanding. But yeah, we're gonna have a nice giveaway at the end. That's gonna be related to this, just so just so you know. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, so to answer Blake's question, if we're planning to purchase new additional embroidery machines in addition to the one we already have, will we get the 1-year subscription as well included, even if we already have legacy? Yes. Every machine comes with a new license. So if you already have a legacy license, if you purchase a new machine, it will come with a subscription license of Chroma Inspire for a year for that machine. Okay, or not for that machine. It doesn't matter for which machine. It's not linked to a machine, but you get a new license, right, for a year. Sandra asks, what software is run on the models that use the 10S screen? Again, the 10S screens, nothing to do with the digitizing software. All right, two separate things. The 10S screens runs on our proprietary firmware, right? That's what makes the 10S platform possible. Nothing to do with digitizing. If you have the legacy version of Chroma or the new version of Chroma, they can both work with it's just a file format, right? Our machines read DST format. That's all it is. Nothing to do with the machine's panel. All right, I'm gonna speed through something. I'm like halfway through the questions, and I already see that these were asked kind of like towards the about like half an hour ago. So I'm sure there's like new questions here. So more than 3 hours. So that means there won't be a training at Deco Summit. I get it. The new system is what is going forward, and no one's taking that away. So no, there will still be Chroma training and seminars at Deco Summit, right? It will just be on. It will already be on the subscription version because it has all the new features. But doesn't mean that legacy users can also attend if you have the legacy version, because a lot of the fundamental principles still apply, right? But if we talk about a new feature of, because we're going to be showing, right, and you're following along and everyone has a laptop, it's all going to have the subscription license of Chroma, right? Because that's from this day forward, that's what we're using. Even internally here, that's what we're using. And so in Deco Summit, we're going to be showing that and following along with that. So, but legacy users are still can attend, right? Most of the buttons are still the same. But if we talk about in the seminar a new feature, it's like, hey, look at this. This is how you use the stitch estimator feature. If you have a legacy version, when you go back home, you can't really use that feature, right? But in the seminar, everyone's laptop to follow along all is on the same version, right? So it's not that there won't be a training on Chroma at Deco Summit. Brendan Parker asks, I did see a good question. If someone was to let subscription lapse, that just means they have to digitize out of house, right? Machine still functions just fine as long as they have a digitized files. Yep. I answered that like 3 or 4 times. But yes, there's nothing to do with the machine itself. The Crafty Puerto Rican, where can I find Deco Summit ticket prices? At decosummit.com. But if you want to get the $200 off because you're a Ricoma customer, right, contact your account manager. Contact your account coordinator. With gray, I guess you won't know if you ask. You won't know unless you ask. So I applaud you for asking. Do we get a free ticket to Deco Summit with a Roma subscription today? No, unfortunately not. But you can get $200 off if you are a Ricoma customer. So, which essentially means that if you purchase Roma subscription today, you can get $200 off Deco Summit, right? Because you're a Ricoma customer at that point, right? But in order to get that, you have to contact our account manager, right? You got to contact in and say like, hey, I want the $200 off because Henry said it on the live, right? And they was like, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, how many tickets do you want, right? You won't be able to see that on the website, right? So that's why it pays off to attend these lives and get these special, insider information. Mindy Hicks says, yes, but upgrades were an option. You're forcing us to upgrade when we might not be able to afford it? No, you can stay with Legacy as long as you want. There's no, nobody's forcing anybody to upgrade. B. Malloy 60 asks, I purchased my machine last week. I haven't received it yet. Will I have Legacy? Yes. So if you already purchased it, before today, it's Legacy. Blake Firestone says, I think we're all just nervous because everything is going up in cost and that we want to make sure that this additional investment is worth the additional cost. Absolutely. Hey, look, listen, I get it. I understand, right? And just as what you're feeling of things going up in cost, we're feeling that too. But I think to combat that, I think we've done a good job of making it worthwhile to upgrade, right? If you don't see the value in that, to each his own. But it's not like we're just saying, hey, everyone, today onwards you can't use Legacy anymore, and you got to switch over to this new license, and then pay a new fee. We're not saying that. You can stay where you are if you're comfortable doing that, and just stay. If you feel like it's not for you, that's completely fine. But if you could change the situation and be able to get more features, do things faster, is that worth something to you, right? That's the question that you got to ask yourself. But nobody's forcing anybody to change anything over. And I think, we've done a pretty good job to add the value, to show the value of switching, right? Of going to this new license. If you don't feel that way, let us know what we could, add better. But I think with the bunch of new features we've already added, with the quarterly updates from here on out that we're committing ourselves to, I think it's something that that's the reason, right? That's the reason to switch. But if you feel that and the seminars and the new videos and the new training and all of that, right, to add on even more value to that, and I think the value versus the additional cost, it's like the value is here and the cost is minuscule compared to the new features. And it's not like these are the only new features that we'll add and then no more new features going forward. Like I said, we're updating every quarter new features. If we see something that might be useful, we're adding it. And then next day, if you choose to update your software to the newest version, you will get it, right? So that you don't have to wait. And so I think that over the cloud update, right? So you're always at the latest version. That's part of the benefit. And when we're committing ourselves to updating new features, very very frequently, right? That's the same thing as like, yeah, I mean, if you have a iPhone 3, iPhone, the first generation of iPhone, you can continue to use that. It probably still works, right? Just be very slow, but you don't get the latest features of all of the newest iPhones that come out, right? And iPhones, I would even venture to say, I mean, those are changing every single year, right? And you would have to buy a new one to get the latest like hardware specs. But the software version, they make some minor tweaks to update the software and the firmware. But yeah, if you want the latest, megapixel camera or whatever, on the iPhone that I have here, right? Then I have to get that if I want it. If I don't want it, then I can use my previous iPhone if it still works. If I just need to, call and text. So it just depends on your needs, right? But if I feel that if there's enough value in the new features, that's what will kind of ultimately make the decision to switch. So I hope that we provided enough of that in this switch. Art and Hustle Printing says, love it. I have to update Corel Draw when it comes up, so it's just part of the process. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Linda Brown asks, "Why do you have to give up the legacy license?" You don't have to. You don't have to give up the legacy license. But if you switch, then the legacy license goes away. It's like one or the other. You don't have both, right? So, but you don't. If you don't want to switch, you can keep your legacy license forever. Katrina asks, so do we call our account rep to upgrade with the credit for new machine owners? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can also just do it directly on the website, chromaembroidery.com. You can do that. You can type in your serial number of what legacy serial number you have, and you can upgrade right then and there. Or if you find it easier to call your account rep, you can do that as well. Right so you see here on the chromaembroidery.com legacy license, and then you just if you want to switch now. Go ahead and click switch now. I believe it asks you to enter. You see, ready to level up your experience, upgrade to the Chroma's new subscription plan now, and you enter in your old serial number, and then you view your options, and then we can verify whether your legacy number is correct, legacy license is correct. Yeah, the Vij kind of summarized it pretty well, I think. Just food for thought. If you don't use Chroma enough to care about the upgrades, don't worry. Yeah, you just stay on your legacy license. You don't use it anyways. If you kind of use it, the upgrades probably won't matter too much, so don't worry, right? If you use it a lot, you see the value and understand how software companies work, so you don't mind the change, right? So if you want to get the latest and greatest features, and you want that, then you would make the change. If you don't use it, then don't make the change. It doesn't go away. Dave Dobbins says, is Chroma proprietary to Ricoma? When you say proprietary, I don't know if you mean like, is it proprietary, developed proprietary by us? The answer is yes to that. If it's proprietary, if you mean proprietary to Ricoma, meaning if you have any other machine and you can't use Chroma unless you have Ricoma, the answer is no. Chroma is independent of the machine that you use, but it is something that's developed by Ricoma on a proprietary basis. Barbara Winston says, so I paid $19.99 for Legacy Lux, and to upgrade, it's $500 for the first year, and then monthly. I hope I understand that correctly. Correct. Because the new Lux license is $24.99, so it's a $500 difference. If you want to upgrade to that, you get the new Lux for a year at the $500, and then monthly thereafter. All right, this person says, I think this is a good segue into this. Everyone seems stressed out, so we should do a giveaway. All right, so I think we're at the 2-hour mark on this live stream, probably the longest one I've done. But answer a lot of great questions. And James says, I admire Henry's patience. Thank you, James. Well, I mean, I try to just bring the most helpful information, help clarify some of the things that you guys are concerned about. But that's kind of where we're going with that. But anyways, I think this is a good segue into the giveaway. I appreciate 150 of you still on here to listen to the giveaway. It was at a peak like close to like 180 something people. I guess a couple of people dropped off, but hey, they're lost and it's your gain. Okay, so for the giveaway, since we're talking about Roma all this time, we are going to be giving away one subscription license to Roma. All right. And if you already have a legacy license, then you can you can get on this new subscription license free of charge. Actually, instead of doing the Inspire, just because I know that a lot of people had a lot of questions. I know that we put Inspire on here, but we'll do one Roma Lux. All right. We'll kind of take it up a notch. So it says Roma Inspire on the page here. I appreciate everyone's kind of patience and sticking around, and those that are this Whit Gray says they were so mad that they dropped off. So for those of you that stuck around, to reward you, instead of Roma Inspire license, all right, for the new license plan, we're gonna do a Roma Lux. All right, we are gonna do a Roma Lux. And if you already have kind of a legacy version of Roma, maybe you have Inspire or Plus or whatever the case is, you get free Lux for a year, and then you can decide if you want to stay on. You can pay thereafter. If you already have legacy and you're like, you know what, I don't want to switch over, and even though you gave it to me for free. And then don't take it and stay on the legacy license. But we are gonna give away one new Roma subscription Lux license. All right, and again, what that comes with is it's free of charge. It's a year's worth of the license, and then if you want to stay on thereafter, you just pay the monthly fee. I believe it's $49 per month or $490 per year. Right, so you get 2 months free if you pay on a yearly basis and subscribe for another year. But you get the first year free on this new Lux subscription license. Okay, and so without further ado, this new license for Lux, all right, is gonna go towards David Williams. David Williams from Facebook. David Williams, if you're here, please comment so I know that you're here, and therefore you can get this license. And by the way, for those of you that didn't win, all right, you can still get 20% off on the Roma launch, on this new Roma launch. 20% off the new subscription licenses. Okay, so if you want to take advantage of that, that's between now and April 30th. All right. So David. So PM says, congrats, David. David Williams, I'm here. All right, great. David, congrats to you to getting the Roma Lux subscription license for a year, free of charge. All right, that itself is $2,500 of value there. All right, so probably the biggest giveaway we've done on this channel in terms of dollar amount. $2,500. We've given away, like 8-in-1s and Mighty Hoops and all of that, like $500, $700, $800 of giveaway. This is probably the biggest giveaway in terms of value that we're giving. in all the years that we've been doing these lives. $2,500 of value for the new Lux subscription plan. Our team will contact you, all right, to get your information and to send the new license code to you so you can activate it and start using and taking advantage of some of the new features on Chroma Lux, right? That are on this new license. So congrats to you. I'm happy for you. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. And like I mentioned before I sign off here, get those Deco Summit tickets. All right, if you're in the market for a machine, get the machine. They're on sale right now currently as well. If you have already purchased a machine very recently or just now, and you haven't gotten Deco Summit, now you know that you get $200 off of Deco Summit if you're a Ricoma customer. All right, if you're a Ricoma customer, you get $200 off of Deco Summit tickets. You can't just buy that on the website. You got to go through your account manager or your account coordinator to get the $200 of discount. All right, call them. Find your email or email them. Right? If you got an email from them about shipping your machine, email them and be like, hey, I want 3 tickets to Deco Summit. And Henry said that on the live stream, because I'm a Ricoma customer, I get $200 off of each ticket. All right, so if you're getting 3 tickets, that's $600 off. All right, so don't wait on those tickets. Those go up April 26th. They go up $200 on April 26th. And so if you want to get the $20 discount, if they go up in $20, then it kind of is a wash, right? So you want to get in on that now before it's too late. Call your account manager, get the $20 off if you're a Ricoma customer, and get in on Deco Summit. And I look forward to seeing you guys at Deco Summit. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And I know that thanks for sticking around, but I appreciate you. And hopefully I was able to clarify some of these questions about the new Chroma launch that we have. But we're very excited about that. And that's going to be where a lot of our energy is going to be put in to make Chroma the best digitizing software out there with continuous updates. It makes things easier, more efficient, and more updates, whether it's fonts, new designs, things like that, to make Chroma the best digitizing software out there. And to do that, we have to have the resources behind it to make it work. All right. So I hope that this helps you. And if you have any other questions, chime in down below. My team is more than happy to answer. And I'll see you back here probably later this month. I'll be doing another live to wrap up the month. So I hope to see you there. And thank you for watching. And until next time. All right. Take care.